Everyone, I'm delighted to be today with you and to talk about Telenor journey. As Annie said, becoming digital telco, as well as enabling Telenor to capture the growth that we all believe in that goes beyond our core business, which is the connectivity. But before I start talking about Telenor journey and basically how we started all of that thinking, I would like to as well bring to everyone notice that all these discussions and ideas were built around how do we basically change our integrated telco model that we've been operating, developing for the decade, because we believe it's time for those models to be unbundled, or as someone would say, completely delayered. We need to unlearn the basically old and embrace the new thinking and changing something that is being delivered through the integrated way of work into the creating the value and separate unbundled services to our customers. To do that, if you go please to the next slide, Telenor embraced and set the strategy in order to capture those opportunities. And when we started discussing in 2022, we said that first and foremost, as a key foundation and enabler for this, Telenor would like to become a digital telco. When we talk about digital telco, is basically talking about the digitalization end-to-end in order to improve the customer experience, to maintain the relevance, and not only relevance, but really strengthen the security and the privacy capabilities and the relevance to our customers. And by doing that, we believe that we will be becoming much more efficient and effective, and we will enable building the services on the top that will be attracting many different partners and still stay relevant for the customers. What we want to achieve when we are talking about digital telco, and I'll come back a little bit later, is, as we say in Telenor, 3 S's. The first one is all about the scale. And we like to call it hyper-local scale, meaning that we need to create the scale that will be as effective, as efficient, and as relevant like the hyperscaler, but deployed and adjusted to the local customer needs. It needs to bring the speed. Speed, that is what customer needs, and the speed basically to meet the customer requirements and continuously changing expectations. And if we do those two first, as is correct, we believe the third one, will be something that not only for Telenor, but as well for the ecosystem of the partners that we strongly believe needs to come, will be enabled. That gives us as well the belief and trust that by doing the digital telco, we are creating the enablers that will give the power to the customer to choose which type of services and where each of them would like to have. But not only that, we'll attract different partners, be it the customers, be it the developers, be it the industry, that together with Telenor will be able to create the value that goes beyond the connectivity. And that is our second pillar that we are talking in our strategy, which is to basically succeed in building the services that goes beyond the connectivity through establishing the trusted partner position in ecosystem where we work. To do that, we believe that that telcos and Telenor needs to come closer to the customers. That's why we are choosing to strengthen our position in 2 distinguished markets where Telenor is present today, Nordic and Asia, and come closer to the customer and accordingly adjust both our delivery operating model as well as the business model and go to market on its own and together with the partner. All of that is done in the responsible manner. And that is a part of our core values. It is a part of our DNA. And of course, security, privacy, diversity, the climate is something that has been integrated in everything what we do. And as we call in Telenor, it's our license to operate. And definitely, particularly security and privacy, as we call it, a secret weapon of the telcos to build that trusted partner position towards the customers. If we please then go to the next slide, and I already introduced the term digital telco. And I just want as well to share, many times we are challenged digital. We have been digital for many years. Yes, technology has been digital, and no doubt about that. But the question is, have we basically enabled and have we brought the digital experience to the customer, meaning get the services and get the relevance to the customers where and what they want. So what we want is to deliver connectivity, to deliver not only the network, but the services on the top as a service model. Why we want to do that? We are doing this because we want to give the power to the customer. We want to empower the customers and the societies, not only the customers, but as well the different things. To do that, we want to make our services relevant to them. So personalized, but not us to do that personalization. Give that power to the customer to do it whatever and wherever they want. To choose what type of the quality of the service they want, and basically make them the chief engineer, at the same time the chief sales officer or the chief customer officer. So make them one-stop shop by making accessible through the web or through the app those services where everyone will have the capabilities to basically order those services in the very easy and friendly way. The second part, when we are talking about the digital telco, is basically how do we make each individual as a business on its own? Meaning that each of the entities or the customers of the things are basically feeling and experiencing a unique experience with the Telenor and with the services that we are building. What do we mean by that? Is that we, through establishing a one-stop shop through the app or through the portal, will basically enable and create the capabilities that will be offered to all the customers, individuals or the industries or the societies, to use it and to do the modular thinking and enable them to combine what type of services and what type of offerings we want to do. And when we are talking about that, of course, to do that, it has to be simple. And to be simple, it has to be something that is just one click. We believe that digital technology can enable that. By doing it simple, it will definitely be fast. And by bringing the transparency and simplicity, security and privacy becomes much easier and integrated and embedded in everything what we do. Why is possible to do that now and it hasn't been for the last decade? We believe that technology has evolved over the time and the maturity of technology at the level that it becomes significantly more easy to do. We are now basically into the perfect, as we call it in Telenor, storm of the 5G, of the AI. We are in the perfect storm of the cloud. At the same time, basically getting those capabilities not only to develop, but available in the ecosystem, in the market to pick from and to select and integrate in our business and operating model. At the same time, we see the tremendous shift, and we welcome very much that, of different vendors and partners taking different roles and as well expressing one single need to collaborate and to co-create. So to go beyond the collaboration and enter into the co-creation space. Because everyone is coming to the same, we believe, realization that no one is big enough to do this on its own, and only ones who are able to create this co-created ecosystem of the partners where we are building on each other's strengths and accelerating the value creation built around the customers will be the one to succeed for the future. So the partner ecosystem becomes extremely crucial. And of course, for us to understand with whom to partner, in which area, and how do we basically handle that in a good way. So customers and partners are becoming extremely crucial besides the technology that we have been developing and working throughout the decades. But now customers and partners are becoming basically the integral part of our design, our solutioning, our deployment. So really co-creating and working with them end to end. If you go to the next slide, please. and then a bit talk about, okay, if this is the job to be done, and if this is the ambition that we would like to set up, this unbundling or delayering of our integrated telecom model becomes extremely important. And what we want to achieve by that? Till now, telcos were treating their assets as a cost. What we believe that each of those assets should be treated as an asset. So we want to turn every building blocks of our value chain into the value-creating building blocks. We want to, first of all, unbundle our integrated business model into the, as you could see, quite distinguished, we call it Lego building blocks, that will enable us to achieve both the scale, speed, and enable the sale, and externalize each of those building blocks so that it can offer different type of services to the end users, be it individual customers or be it the industry. The integrated telco value chain or the model is basically unbundled in different areas. So based on the processes, where we are talking that each of the process that we have internally should be self-service enabled. Do you use it or not? The choice and decision is left to the customers, but we should enable that capabilities. The second basically rule of the game or the hypothesis for us is that everything should be touch-free. So the full automated, intelligent, predictable operation and processes should be implemented. Telenor has an ambition that by 2023, we will have a full touch-free operation in our telco business model. And the last part, all the services that we are delivering to the customer should be delivered on the as-a-service model, meaning everything as a service. That will enable customers through the self-service portal to make the choices and decisions that he or she or the companies would like to make. To do that, we have a bundle of different building blocks. And you can see at the bottom in the dark blue, there is the passive part, which we like to call as well infrastructure. The value of that is basically crystallizing and making our assets transparent, both for our internal use, but as well for the customers and the shareholders. By doing that, we are able to crystallize the value creation out of each of our assets and turn them from the cost into the revenue generating. The second layer is the active part, which is basically what is now all built around the telco technology, but of course applying the new technology. So technology built around the cloud native, where we till now have set a very clear target to move everything towards the public cloud first principle, and only if not available and relevant, go to the private. We would like, of course, embarking on the 5G journey and making sure that everything what we do is a data-driven. So it's a data-driven company making a decision for the customers of the way how we do the operation, fully embracing the touch-free ambition by 2023. What as well is extremely important that by doing this debundling and deploying the technology through the open APIs, fully compliant with the TM Forum, we believe we are not only strengthening our connectivity capabilities, we are enabling, as we call it, new connectivity opportunity, which is built around private network. It's built about the software-defined network, which can be SD-WAN or SDX, and definitely with the 5G strengthening the broadband and fixed wireless activities, both across the consumer and the businesses. If we are able to basically unbundle and create the value chain, which is built on the as-a-service model, that would mean that each of the building block, even in the passive or in the active part, can be externalized and offered to the customer. And that is our idea about the mobile private network, which we are saying that the main direction and main principle should be the micronectar, and then carving out or slicing, as we like to call it in the 5G world, the part of the network that will serve particular customers, but that will be dedicated only for that customer with the clearly defined quality of service and the grade of the service that customer demands and would like to see. If we then move to the next slide, please. Again, I mentioned on the first slide that this is all built around the customers. And for us, becoming a digital telco, one success factor is to definitely become much faster, and that we are able to scale across in order to create that efficiency and scalability across. But of course, all of that is relevant and good if we are able to create and distinguish a clear value for the end users and the customers. And those are just some examples in our journey when we are discussing and shaping different use cases and working with the customers, which is completely different than before. We build and then customer will come. We are talking about higher speed and a shorter latency. Of course, it's about the quality. It's about the guaranteed service delivery to the customers for the different type of services that we do. When it comes to the type of the services that customer would like to see, be it the emergency services in the health or in the defense sector, be it the retail or the manufacturing services, it's talking about the ability to deliver the quality with the higher speed that is required, given, and I'll give some examples that we are working on now, given the need of the business processes that are implemented basically on those use cases. But as well, they would like to have a full control and visibility of the data flow, on the data that is being used and the processes that are being executed. Analytics will play extremely important role in the journey of being and enhancing the data-driven company in order to really bring the transparency and insight, but as well to make sure that all the data are used in the right relevant manner in the most efficient way. I talk about the touch-free operation and started as an ambition, now translated into the very concrete examples and very concrete results for Telenor. We are more than 60% in the whole technology in the network and IT touch-free operation. And since end of 2021, we have enhanced the customer interfacing, basically relationship and interactions, as well as the staff function in HR and finance, where we are basically crossing more than 30% of all our processes are fully automated and implemented AI, ML models to bring the intelligence and to drive these data-driven capabilities. What we have introduced is the security and privacy by design in everything what we do, making sure that we stand behind our trusted partner ambition and deliver the services so that customer can fully rely in the robust, secure, and the good quality way. When it comes to the cloud, Telenor in 2016 has embarked on the multi-cloud approach, stating that the public cloud is the first choice for us, and only if not relevant, as I said, we will go to the private cloud. So today on the IT workloads, as we have it, we are 50% already moved to the fully cloud native capabilities and delivered as a service. And in network, we have 92% of all our data traffic is run through the virtualized hybrid data platform. And close to 70% all of the workloads are being built from this and served from the same platform, while all 100% of our customers is basically being served from that platform. So 100%, 173 million customers are being served from that platform. Of course, we understand as well the value of shifting from the hybrid cloud and the virtualized platform into the fully cloud native, and that's the next wave when it comes to the network that now Telenor is embarking. And we believe by doing that, we will achieve the full, automation and the full intelligence and predictiveness when it comes to the operations, both in the customer-facing operation as well as network and IT. If we please go to the next slide, and I can give some of the industry cases and examples that we are working, again, with the customers, bringing in the partners, and where Telenor plays very important instrumental orchestrating role and building on the relationship that we have had with our customers for the decade, And of course, not only maintaining it, we believe enhancing as we are solving the customer problem. One of the case is that, for example, the hospital smart hospital, where we, of course, would like to support the hospitals in order to transform and digitalize their business processes and their way of work. So you could see basically that we are talking about the future capabilities, which is cutting across 4,300,000 square meters. And the job to be done is really to digitalize their internal processes, make sure that we get all the data safe and well managed, handled in the accurate, transparent, and effective way. And as well, make sure that the processes that are run are simple and effective so that the quality is good at the same time delivering a good efficiency. So it's the same principle that we are trying to apply. It's basically the same approach that we are trying to do, because we believe that most of these use cases that we are working on will have a standardized models of the building blocks that will help us improve the scalability and speed to meet the customers whenever and where they need us. So what we are trying to deliver with this, it's definitely the quality, the ultra-reliable mobile infrastructure, which is placed in the local on-prem solution with the, as we call it, hyper-local scalable technology and the solution, meaning that it scales like it is global hyperscalers, but adaptive to the local specific needs. Hospitals are handling very critical data about the patients, and they would like to have full control of the data quality and place on the premises where they are. And of course, combine that with their communication services on-prem or between the employees by leveraging whatever it is available on the public cloud. And of course, making sure that the customers and the users, the employees of the hospitals are prioritized, and enabling the ecosystem of the partners that will be working in order to simplify the processes that they're delivering are being done in the most effective and efficient way. So that's the role that Telenor would like to play. And that's, again, back to our trusted partner ambition, where we don't want only to build on our, not only deliver our core capabilities, but build on our core capabilities, which is the connectivity, and enable the services that will come on the top. We are now running in multiple hospitals, and what we can say is that our belief that the building blocks, the approach, the methodology, the work with the customers, and ability then, by if doing it right, can scale are proving correct. And that is extremely important, because this is only one use case. And Telenor today, for example, in Norway, is having more than 60% market share when it comes to the enterprise businesses. And we want to help those businesses and societies, municipalities, to truly transform and become digital across. Another example is from Asia. We can go to the next slide. And it talks about how we work with the ports. So it's again the same approach, working with the customers, trying to solve the customer problem and to help them digitalize and improve their business and operating model by leveraging and capitalizing on the capabilities that we as Telenor can bring. This is an example, and what is the job to be done? It's not easy. It's a 10 million containers. It's an Asia case, basically, which is quite, I would say, demanding for everyone in order to get in order. And definitely the quality, the accuracy, then the efficiency, the safety is something that is very important for the ports in order to improve the overall experience to their customers and their delivery, and at the end will result into much happier both customers, employees, and efficiency. So basically, there we have engaged with our customer, brought the partners where we brought the cameras with a quite high capacity and resolution in order to really improve the onboarding and deboarding and transport of the containers, to improve the automated processes of shifting and storing the containers, to improve the safety by, of course, using as well the connectivity, where we can, through the cameras or using or different technology models as well, notify the employees if there is some emergency or if there is some unsecure object coming on its way, so that we can increase the HSSE, we can increase the profitability, engagement, and basically put the employees to work on the things that matters the most, and the ones that are more repetitive, the ones that might end up into the big disaster and emergency, basically handle in the most effective and the best way. Then I would like as well to share on the next slide similar case which talks about the emergency services case. And already now, I think there is the commonality in the way how we are approaching and how we are trying to solve that. Even though it is the local relevance and it's a local demand, how to address this incident response, there are a lot of similar building blocks in the previous cases, but as well that can be replicated across the countries where we are operating in Nordic and in Asia. So what they want to solve, of course, it's the search and the rescue on it. Very strong coordination and efficiency in the way how that is handled, and secure the fast treatment in case something is not going in the way as anticipated. What we basically were able to enable those emergency services is to create the network, as we call it, on the wheel. We can put the whole capabilities, connectivity, and other services on the wheel, on the truck, the trailer that can move across the country and be placed where and when it is needed. That is fully equipped with the video and other surveillance equipment that basically can then capture the situation from the ground and then inform relevant entities that will be required to act in the case of the emergency. And again, as a core and foundation, making sure that the connectivity and communication is robust and secured and prioritized, so that in case of the emergency, they get the full priority, and both on the connectivity part, but as well on the other players. If you go then to the next slide, please. I touch upon, it's a customer, it's a Telenor and technology, but in this game, it's all about the partnership. And Telenor is very clear that we believe none of us, including the hyperscalers, are big enough to do this on its own. And we strongly believe in collaboration, or actually enhancing into the co-creation where 1 + 1 becomes 11. And we would like, and that's what we are doing and start doing, is to tap into the strengths and competencies and capabilities of the ecosystem. To do that, it's really important to set as well the rules of the game, so that partnership becomes effective, very agile, and easy to connect and perform on each other. Different governance model, we have engaged and embark on the different strategic partnership agreement, where we have completely one team, one goal approach, objective, in order to meet the customer experience and working full force towards the customer objectives. Technology is helping us on that through the standardized, I mentioned, open APIs, building on the data, on the analytics, cloud, so to enable full automation, but as well working together in order to define and to build the joint go-to-market proposition, and then offer to the customers the robust and secured connectivity, and then build on the top. With the different type of services that can come from the partners or from the Telenor itself. What is extremely important is that all of these models and thinkings requires very different competencies and capabilities. So getting the whole organization to train and to upskill the capabilities and competencies is the key. Yes, we are going to automate, and we talk a lot about the touch operation and the cloud and the AI but it boils down on the people, their ability to understand and to basically put the holistic and end-to-end picture to establish this strong connect and binding with the customers through its relevance, to the good quality of service, to really stand behind the Telenor behaviors, which is be respectful and keep promises, by creating together and exploring every day, exploring with the customers and with the partners. Then we can go to the next slide. And if we do all of this, that's why we strongly believe that we will put us into the very good position. And when I'm talking about the us, it's a customer, partner, and Telenor, in order to really innovate and work together to create the value which is required and relevant for the end users, for everyone. And this is something that we are very vocal about, and inviting all stakeholders to join, because it is about the scale game. It's about the relevance game. It's about making sure that we are, when the customer needs us, at the same time, very humble that this is quite broad area, and that's why very focused and prioritizing what we believe is the critical and the most important. Starting with the connectivity as a service, building on top of that security as a very important value proposition, talking about the connecting not only the people but the things, and building the services on the top through the very strong platform play on the IoT, and bringing the edge and cloud capabilities, the quality, relevance, and privacy to the customer's premises. If we go, I believe that is the end of the presentation and what I had in mind. And maybe just to conclude, that Telenor fully understand and embrace humbly the challenges and transformation that we are up to. We believe this is the biggest since the migration from fixed to mobile. And it is the true transformation that will be done together with the ecosystem partners and built around the customer and its their needs and behaviors.
Well, thank you, Ruza. That's a really very encouraging presentation, because I think we talk about the beyond connectivity, the additional value a lot. It's very nice to see some more concrete information. We have a question from a member of our audience who asks, how do you motivate customers to take up the new services and products?
We believe in the shift towards acting and doing as the owner. And what do we mean by that? Engaging and taking the full ownership of the outcomes. To motivate the customer, it's really to make them part of our journey and make sure that they understand that we are trying to solve their problem. It's not offering. They become part of the finding the solution, and they become a part of basically implementing that solution. So it is basically sharing both the risks and the gains of that. So it's all in. If that is not in place, it's very challenging. So I fully understand the question why it is raised. But what we understand, that when you engage and when you explain and in a way slice the elephant into the smaller deliverables so that they understand what is the job to be done and how are we going to do that, we get them on board, and then we get a strong pull effect within the customer, but then it gets scaled across the industry of that customers that we are working.
Okay, the same person asks, do you have separate migration projects or programs to boost the transition to digital telco?
Yes. So the short answer to that is yes. But maybe just to give a bit of the background, we don't believe that we are starting the digital telco journey now. We believe we started in 2016.
Yeah,
and it was a different phases, and we called them differently, right? We were calling, for example, digitalization of the IT stack, 5G transformation. We call it cloud native transformation. So it was different building blocks, as I was trying to explain, where it now emerged into this, okay, it's not about just building the capabilities, but we need to treat them as the businesses. Those are our assets. They're not the cost, because we were only reporting what is the cost. We were not thinking what revenue that can generate. That has emerged, I would say, in the last 18 months. Where we understood that there is something that can be, in a way, put together, and by putting it together in the de-layered or unbundled way, gets a very different opportunity space. And now it is a strong ambition for each of the business units that we operate, each of the markets, to really transform itself to become the truly digital telco. Meaning that each of the capabilities that we build, if you deploy the cloud capability to produce voice and the SMSs or data, that cloud capabilities should be possible to be sold to the end user customer. That is the mindset as a service, and not only to serve the connectivity final product, but to serve basically the end user customer needs, as I mentioned here. So this is the shift. Major shift in everything what we do. How do we treat the infrastructure as a business, not think only about voice, SMSs, and data?
Okay, and briefly, because I'm sad to say we're running a little late, in B2B, how do you plan to compete against hyperscalers and their brand? As their brands are stronger, they're more agile, and they don't have complex BSS and OSS. I feel maybe the ecosystem bit hasn't hit home there.
Yeah. We don't want to compete. Let me start with that. And we want to partner, and we want to co-create. And that's the mindset. And then the question is where and how to co-create and partner. And that's, of course, something that we have embarked in the last 2 years. And it's a fantastic learning journey. We are learning every second, but it's a lot to be unbundled. Why I'm saying this? Because we believe that there is something that we definitely have. It's this last mile customer relationship and intimacy. So that intimacy space, it's owned by us. And we are proud of that, right? And that is our strength. And this, as I said, security and privacy, we believe it's our secret weapon for the industry, which complement very well the capabilities that they have. And that's what we want to work with. So how do we accelerate the value that we have, building on our strength, and basically co-create and compensate the strengths that they have? And I can say by having the open and the straightforward dialogue and working together to solve the customers, all these cases that I showed, there are hyperscalers there. Just as well, I would avoid to mention the names, but in all the cases, we have hyperscalers, be it in infrastructure, be it in customer solution, be it in the way how we operate.
Ruza, thank you so much. A really interesting presentation. Thank you very much indeed. We look forward to keeping up with Telenor's journey with you at future events, we hope.
Pleasure to be here. Thank you.